Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these topics, subjects, sectors, looking for potential investment opportunities and sharing them with everyone in the community. If you want to join, we do have a special coupon code. Special is the coupon code. You get 50% off the first month only, and a larger discount on the yearly membership. And anyone can switch to a yearly membership, even if you're on the monthly plan. Let's dive in, take a look, see what's going on today. Starting with the DXY, we are continuing to see weakness in the DXY. We'll see if this continues further. A lot of the times you hit a support area. It's this area kind of coming through here. And you can see that we bounced up. And now we want to see if we bounce higher off support or if we can punch through and head lower for the DXY here. A lot of the times as you go up and your resistance stopping points are in the same general location as other ones as you come back down. And then you get these gaps where things move quickly where there isn't as much resistance. So we'll see if we continue lower or if we continue higher. And a lot of the times, interest rates that back the currency is what's driving these relative strength and weakness in the currency. So the 2-year yields are up. That looks strong, and it bottomed here. There's a lot of support in this general region. That's why there's all those wicks on the candles. You can see the wicks at the bottom here, these little, we call them wicks. And then we've got support that we've gone and broken up to the upside. So that's still hanging on at the moment. The 10-year's down a little bit. It's up against resistance. That's the bigger picture view there. So we're up against resistance there. Let me get this out of the way. We're up against resistance. We are kind of rolling over to some degree. So if we were to look at it, you could say that this is an upward facing pattern that will eventually break to the downside. And perhaps it is similar to a shoulder, head, shoulder going on, and then we eventually end up maybe down a little bit, down in the mid threes or something like that, possibility. So that is a possibility. That's kind of what I'm watching for. If that transpires, the question should then be, well, what kind of investments should I be looking at? And then the 30-year, we are up against support here. There's your support. And we're looking for a potential rollover, maybe, if that occurs, much like the 10-year. So we entered it from the top side down. We came on up. And if we squeeze up to a corner here, we could easily pop to the downside. TYX-TNX ratio is pulling back, which means that the 30-year was down more than the 10-year, and it pulled on back a little bit. TLT, which is bond prices, are up a little bit today, 0.5%, with yields dropping just a little bit. If we get weakness in yields, it means that we're going to get strength in bond prices. Both Bessent and Trump have talked about a slowing in the economy and a lowering of interest rates and potentially lowering of the dollar. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to engineer that. We've got the 2 and the 10. It is up today, moving up quite rapidly the past 2 trading sessions. So quite a weird dynamic. It is as if someone is controlling the yield curve. Yeah, that's probably what they're doing. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to lower rates, but keep this probably inverted to some degree. We saw the 2-year up 0.72% today, and the 10-year was down 0.5%. They want the 10-year down, and I'm not sure what they want to do on the shorter end of the curve. But we inverted today upward in the short term here. Gold's up $7.50. It looks pretty dang good. We are continuing higher. It's over $3,000 an ounce, 3,008. Let me kind of center that on there. We're at 3,008, and it's continuing higher. Silver down a little bit, but I would state that this is a bullish formation because we don't have a lot of selling pressure here. We're sitting on top of a lot of support in the 3350-ish area. This is resistance support all through here, and we're on top of it. We've got a surge higher in small little red candlesticks. I think that this is well positioned for a move higher for silver. Platinum up 1.3%. We are starting to break out of the downtrend on a monthly candlestick basis on the closing prices. So we're starting to cut through that. And we still have, I would say, resistance here at 1050 that we'd really like to break above and break out on. Palladium, we are up slightly today, basically a flat day, and that's still chopping sideways. This one is the out-of-cycle metal. The in-cycle metal would be silver, platinum, and gold. But if things start to move positively and the dollar starts to fall, we can easily see this partake in potentially in the move higher. What I would like to see is that this goes sideways and platinum rips. That's what I'd like to see. Get a ratio movement out of it. GDX is up 2.13%. It looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic here, guys. We're moving higher in GDX. GDXJ is doing the same thing as GDX. It's just earlier in its move. And SILJ is even earlier in its move, and it's still inside of its pattern. I do think that this is going to be a big launch here. This is going to be a launching pad. This whole thing right there is a launching pad to go to a land far, far, far away from where we are today. So SILJ is looking fantastic. It was up 3% today and moving higher. Nice big move this past last week and into this week. XAU to gold ratio moving on up 2.2%. Remember what I said about XAU to gold. This is the gold and silver mining companies divided by gold. I said that this is a generational opportunity down here to buy gold and silver mining companies. A lot of people are still negative on the sector. I still believe that to be true, and I do think that this is going to go a long way higher. If interest rates do come down and the yield curve uninverts, this is probably going to be jet fuel for gold and silver mining companies and gold and silver itself. So I do think that this has the potential to go way, way, way up from where we are today, and it has a huge runway in this ratio. Crude oil up 0.5%. It's hanging out. Now I know that they are going after crude oil. They're going after crude oil. They're trying to lower the 10-year, and the 10-year and crude oil are highly correlated. So is it possible that they could bring crude oil down to here? Totally possible. It is possible. Am I betting on it? I'm not betting on it, but there's a lot of good investments in oil right now, and maybe they get it down there, maybe they don't. I don't really know. We'll have to see what happens. TTF gas down 2.5%. Looks like we still have some momentum here coming down. This doesn't look too bad. It looks like a flag pattern that's ready to go higher, not lower. It looks good. We've got natural gas in America down 2.5%, a little bit of a pullback back to support. And this is the support trend line that I'm talking about. We do have resistance there. That's why the wicks at the top are there. As it's almost as if they're trying to keep this within the pattern. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, up 2% today. So oil was up slightly, about 0.5%, and then XOP is moving on up. Are we going to get a move lower in oil? Can they push it lower? Bessent and Trump, they're talking all they can. They're letting Iran dip oil all over the place. I mean, they're pulling every single string they can to get oil prices down, to try to get the 10-year yield down. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but this is still holding on at the current time. OIH is up 1.5% or so. And we'll see if we can get back up here or if we will turn and roll over for OIH. To me, it looks like there's a lot of broken downtrends in OIH, and it's a possibility if crude oil does move higher. Newcastle Coal Future down 3.35, doing double bottom deals. I do think this is probably going to end up being a double bottom. And we'll see if that turns out that way. And we'll see if there's any buying pressure coming up in that square there. That is a retest. So we're coming back doing a retest right where we're at. There is a possibility that this does dive lower before going higher. There is that possibility. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is up 0.5%. To me, this looks good. We've been squeezing here into this corner, and that generally occurs before you move higher. The buyers equal to sellers. It comes to a point, and then it breaks out of that dead period is what I call it. Uranium futures pricing moving sideways. It's trying to put in a bottom, but hasn't yet. We've got URA up 3%. Well, what's going on here? Why are people positioning in URA? Well, to me, it looks like it's trying to bottom. We've got a bottoming candlestick here. That's a reversal candlestick there. And now we're starting to move higher. So that looks pretty good. URNM doing the same thing. Broken downtrend line. This looks good to try to go higher. And we also have small selling pressure. That generally occurs before a move on up. URNJ has the same exact setup. Broken downtrend, small selling pressure. And that almost always resolves upward. Maybe not always, but a high percentage of the time it resolves upward. Copper continuing higher. I thought we were going to have a recession. And why is copper going? Good question. Maybe we don't have a recession. Maybe all that stimulus over in China is getting people all bulled up on commodities. But right now, copper looks good. It's broken out. And then COPX is moving higher, 2% for the equities. Looking pretty good. Iron ore down slightly, but it is still sitting on top of a breakout. This I would expect to break higher because we don't have a ton of selling pressure here. What happens is your selling pressure gets less and less and less, and then eventually it turns and goes higher. So it's getting less with time, and that's when you see the turn. You don't need a pattern to tell you that, even though we have a squeezing of a pattern. Aluminum, right at resistance. We're trying to break through still. Still being good old boring aluminum right at resistance. And the lows are coming up into it. So this looks really, really good for a potential break. Nickel sideways today, but it does look like it's bottom and trying to work its way on up. We've got Mu up 1.75%. We're underneath resistance. The resistance is this blue trend line. We have a lot of support where we're currently at. It could bounce around here a little bit longer. But we're looking for a potential break. That's what we're looking for. And then eventually run higher. Emerging markets are up. Weaker dollar, stronger emerging markets. That will continue on up if the dollar continues lower. So that's looking really good. Nice strong candlestick today. KRE up 0.65%. This is looking a little bit weak. Momentum still to the downside. No reversal candlestick. TAN up 3.4%. It likes the weaker yields and the weaker dollar. Kind of a funky looking setup here. Lithium looks really good here. I like the way lithium is looking. I think we're going to bottom right where we're at. I think this is the ultimate bottom here. I think that this will ultimately be a shoulder, a head, and then a shoulder, and then we'll get a breakout. So I do think that this is a bottoming pattern, and I do think we will resolve upward, and it will probably move at any second. REMX is doing the same thing. Looks really good. To me, this looks like a potential double bottom here, and that we will work our way on up. So REMX also looks really good. Broken down trend line. This is all textbook, guys. It's all textbook. You break the downtrend, and then you create a bottom here, and then a higher low, and then you're in a new uptrend when you break 48-ish dollars. Baltic Dry Index continuing higher, super strong. I think if you're looking at buying now, you somewhat missed a little bit of the move, but I would have been a buyer down here. XHB up 0.9%, still trying to break this downtrend line. We'll see if we can break it. Lower yields on the 10-year are going to help this with mortgage rates pulling back. Russell 2000 up 1.19%. And we are back within this pattern. We'll see if we can get back above it or if we'll roll over. I'm kind of in the rollover camp, but we'll see. If they get rates down fast enough, maybe they can save the stock market. Maybe they can't. S&P 500 up a teeny bit. We are still in a downtrend, though, and this still has some selling pressure with the wick at the top. So this could easily roll over. Very possible. And then NASDAQ also downtrend, not reversed, and we could easily roll over. So that is another one that I'm looking for weakness potentially. If rates continue lower, we could easily see more fear enter this market. SMCI down a little bit. And again, I think that this is an upward facing pattern that could easily head lower. We've got NVIDIA down 1.7%. We've got these big distribution candlesticks all over the place here that started to show up over here even. And that is what a topping pattern kind of looks like over time. And the bigger, this is a pretty big move all the way back from 2009. So these topping patterns do take a little bit of time. But kind of, to me, it looks like a topping pattern. Bitcoin up a little bit, up 1.3%. And again, this is generally the Batman pattern. Got eyes real close together, I guess. But this, to me, could easily turn lower here and be an upward-facing pattern. So generally, bearish patterns are upward-facing. Bullish patterns are downward-facing. And then sideways patterns, depending on how you entered it, can be bullish or bearish. Ethereum up 2.6%. We've been coming on down, and this is slightly angled upward. So I think it's a possibility that we could break lower. Look at yields. Look to see what the NASDAQ is doing. And those look a little bit bearish. So we very well could pull back on Ethereum. MicroStrategy down 1%. It's still holding on at this current time. And then the VIX is down 5.88%. Coming back to do a retest. Now, we'll see what happens here, guys, because this could easily blow to the upside here. Because we're at support and we're at the retest. So again, we'll see what happens the rest of this week. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Special is the coupon code if you'd like to join. And that's all I've got for today. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.